All right, guys, this is part 2 to my 6.2 guide. We're probably going to be going over more champs and just some gates, because that's what these last quests are. That's all you're going to really be thinking about, because besides that, these quests are generally just completely rigged. These are the money makers for Caban, these quests right here. Alright, so I'm going to be going over Kingpin quest right now, which is the destructive feedback. In general, you're going to want champions that might be good at intercepting. I know some people are better at intercepting with certain champs. Ghost works great here. Captain America Infinity War works great. People who do very good burst damage are good here. Take that as you may. Any champion can work here. It's going to be more difficult with certain champions than others, though. So just keep that in mind. Spider-Man Stark Enhanced was who I used my first run through, because I did not have a Ghost on my first run through of any of this. This quest is just really sucky in general. I don't like this quest, really. Trying to remember, there was somebody in here who is... Okay, I think it's this Ant-Man. This Ant-Man is a difficult fight because of Micro Reflect and the fact that they have 80% resistance. These fights are long. These 3 fights, Captain America Classic, Spider-Man, and Ant-Man, are long fights. Bring damage over time, debuffs. Gwenpool works great, Venom, Domino, etc. These fights wouldn't be bad if you didn't have to play around this node. Destructive feedback. They got a Connect shield at the start of the fight, and in total every 25 seconds. So, including shield timers. So, 10 seconds with shield, 15 seconds without. If you hit the shield, you're fine. They take damage. Okay. So, this is a node that's difficult to explain without showing it. So, I'm going to quickly go into this first fight with Yellow Jacket. So, shield's up right now. So, I'm going to be able to hit him fine. Now, if he hits me back, I'm going to take all the damage that I just did. So, I just did 15,000 and took all of it back. Now, when the shield runs out, he takes the damage equal to the damage he would have taken from that one combo I did. Besides that, it's a normal fight. Then I'm just gonna kill him. I'm gonna let him kill me here because don't really need anything else to show. So that's the general. That's the basic of how this node works. Besides that, there's not really much else to it on these paths that don't have extra nodes. So, in terms of the easiest path, I thought the easiest path was to go from this Yellow Jacket to Black Widow, Deadpool, War Machine, Thor. Then I went down to the Red Hulk and over to the Winter Soldier. These are all really easy fights. Just have to play around that one node. The Bane and Optimist could mini-boss. Pretty easy to deal with. Yeah. Now I'm going to get into more of these really difficult fights. I'm going to get into the paths more. This Hawkeye, not bad at all. Just don't let him hit your block. Take your time with this. Magic, typical magic. Someone like Blade, Gulk. Your typical magic counters are going to be who you want here. I don't really have much else to say. There's not really many other good counters to Magic. It's just look for her counters. Besides like Archangel, he won't work here because it's a cornered node. But besides that, just stick to your Magic counters, and she'll go down as normal. This path up here is Bane. Just typical Bane. Try and time when you use your specials, so you transfer the degeneration timer over. This Red Skull sucks. Just a long fight. Miss Marvel's fine. Just try and kill her with damage over time, or with someone like Void. Yeah, that path isn't bad. This path that goes to Iron Man Sentry, also not bad, just a bit longer. This Mystic path, I think Symbiote Supreme is the best counter you can get here. He just murders them. Typical Mystics work here as well. Magical work. Dr. Voodoo will work. Yeah. Just stick to your Mystics. Actually, be careful with the Medusa because she has cornered Magic. Just gonna be a long fight. Besides that, this is all pretty basic. Then you're gonna go down Hyperion. Just Hyperion counters. This path is pretty easy from Carnage to Venom the Duck. Yeah. Then if you keep going, the Hulk, Crossbones, Magneto, all normal. This cornered 10% Juggernaut is gonna suck if you don't have someone like Captain America Infinity War, or someone who can get rid of Unstoppable like Stealth Suit Spider-Man. Slow debuffs work great. She-Hulk, Captain America Infinity War, Spider-Man Stealth Suit. This new Storm might be a good counter. I don't know how well her slow works, but I know she has slow. Void could work well. Quake, as always. Quake works great almost anywhere here. Yeah, that's a general path, pretty easy. This Black Panther, fine. This Miles, the Rage, basically bring somebody who could go in a long fight, or somebody you want to regenerate. That's what I did here. Like, say my Gwenpool was alive and had like 20% health, I'd go in with her, because then the life transfer will basically just let me get all my health back. The rest of that path pretty easy. This 200% improved power gain path on the I think it's on both the Symbiote Supreme and the Doctor Strange. No. Okay, the Doctor Strange sucks. Kill him very quickly. Use someone who has just massive damage output, or someone who can tank a special. He's just awful. That node makes it really difficult to deal with. He'll get a special through very quickly. The rest of this path, yeah, it's an easy path. Yeah, don't really worry about it. If you can keep somebody power locked, you're gonna be in for a blast. Keep them away from the special 3. Is basically the gist of that one. Yeah, that's okay. Then there's the Hood, as I talked about already. This Kingpin is not all that difficult. Just a very, very beefy Kingpin. He has 500,000 health, same as the Realm of Legends champions. So gonna be a long fight, especially since it has destructive feedback. You can't stun him. If you try and stun him, he will gain a third of a bar of power. You can actually use this in your favor if, say, during the destructive feedback, you don't want to hit him and you just want to stick to keeping him away from you. If you just parry him 3 times, he'll get a bar of power, and you can bait out the special 1. I actually know I did this a couple times when he was just sort of keeping me in the corner. I got him to bait a special. I baited a special 1 and got him so I could hit him again. Unblockable Finale. Just it's just gonna be a bit more difficult towards the end. Just make sure you're good. You're gonna be good to intercept him. Practice on a couple look up on DualBot maybe a Kingpin to duel. Try and find a beefy Kingpin somewhere else, just to get used to. But yeah, that's not much else I gotta say about that one. This quest is fairly simple. It's actually quite. Actually, I honestly don't hate this one. It's these next two that are just horrible. Now we're gonna go on to 6.2.5 Mistrust with Mordo. This quest is the most cash grab thing Kabam has ever done. I genuinely think it is. Because they literally made a node that you have to make sure everyone's alive, or else you can't complete it. In terms of the boss, I like Wasp. Wasp is a good counter. Blade with Ghost Rider synergy is good. Spider-Man's good. Magic can do good. Corvus can actually do good. Domino can do good. Pretty much anybody can do good, but you're going to want to be high damage dealing champs. Yeah. Alright, so quickly going over, I'm going to go over the non-cash grab paths first, which they only have 4 in this quest. This path right here, it's just all local nodes that are basically just giving specific buffs to these champions. This Gwenpool sucks. Spider-Man Stark Enhanced can work. Power Lock work is probably what you're looking for. Someone who can tank an SP3 works great, because they will go SP1, then 2, then 3, then back to 1, 2, 3. So if you have somebody who could take like 2 or 3 special 3s, you don't even have to worry about anything. This Dr. Voodoo, nothing special. Gamora, nothing special. Spider-Man, nothing really special. Just try not to let him evade you. Actually, the Spry note by itself is not bad, so don't even... Yeah, that note's fine. This guy's fine. There's nothing really special about him. Colossus, nothing really special. Drax, you need your power lock champs, or Spider-Man taunt champs, or power lock champs, or champs who can tank SP3s. Aspect of War, very quick damage. Corvus could work here. Corvus, because he'll get a charge from the evade. And actually, before I go any further, I completely forgot to go over the global note here, which is do not go gentle. They gain a charge. So every 5 hits you do, you're going to get a charge that has no meaning until the end of the fight. But at the end of the fight, so first off, you can get rid of these charges by using a heavy or doing an intercept. An intercept gets rid of 2, heavy gets rid of 1. And all the hits within a heavy actually count. So if you have a heavy like Hyperion's, you will, every time you use a heavy, you will get another charge. So it's actually probably a terrible option to bring Hyperion. And at the end of the fight, if you have any of these charges and try and hit them, you're going to take a crap ton of damage, and you will die if you have like 2 or 3 of these charges, or even more than 1. You take damage equal to their attack, and in these quests, the champions have very high attack. Bring someone... I thought Ghost worked the best here, as you probably got as a common theme throughout this entire thing. Ghost is great in this chapter. Champions like Captain America, Domino, Yeah, those are gonna be your go-to champions. Or anybody actually works if you were very good at intercepting. But in terms of normal, just sort of cheese strats, bring somebody who's just parry heavy. That's what I did. Um, Play smarter, not harder. Um, this Venom the Duck, nothing special about him. Ronin, Biohazard, just bring a bleed immune. Um, Beast, nothing really special. Morningstar, bring a bleed immune. Doctor Strange, he has the same note from the last quest of power gain 200%. This note sucks, just kill him quickly. He's I don't like this note at all. I think there's not really much you can do about it. And then there's just the Vulture, nothing really special. Diablo, there's really nothing bad about this Diablo. Bring somebody who can counter unstoppable, or just play a long game. Incinerate. This is like the bleed nodes where you take bleed that kills you over 60 seconds. Bring an Incinerate immune. 200% power gain, Black Panther, just a longer fight, more patient fight, or bring a power lock champ. Aspect of Chaos, you could bring a Heimdall, and with any champion, or say one of these earlier fights you took some damage, use that champion and swap your health with that rocket, and get all of it back. That's how I like to play that now. Power gain Luke Cage, longer fight. No retreat sentry, just stick to parrying instead of dashing, instead of trying to intercept. Guillotine with Mesmerize, parry, just parry and then hit. Don't hit when they're not stunned. And your typical Cyclops, nothing really hard about that guy. King Groot on this path, very simple, because King Groot. Bring a shock immune champ, or someone like Corvus, who will still take shock, or Captain Marvel movie, who will just get binary from this. Bring your shock immune champs. That's sort of what you do. Bring a bleed immune for this Miles. This nothing wrong with it. This War Machine, actually, I like the 200% power gain, because then you don't have to deal with the special 1 as much, because the special 2 is much easier to bait and actually not get hurt from. Rhino, nothing really special, just take your time. Bring a poison immune for this Abomination. And Sentinel, nothing really special. He's just, yeah, that's all I really have to say. These paths are generally good, but there's a couple fights in here that are really, really difficult. Chaos, Loki, honestly a fun fight. If you get power lock, you can just do whatever you want. Emma Frost with armor break immunity, basically just trying to get you to fight it where she's in diamond mode. Just normal Emma, though. You don't really have to worry much. This Mephisto, bring an Incinerate immune. This Electro is a very crappy fight, because he has that 1% permanent regeneration and poison. This fight sucks. I don't really think there's many counters to this. Hyperion, just spam special 1, reverse the healing. I don't even remember who I used. Okay, yeah, I do. I think what I did is I used Ghost, and just tried to do quick damage with just phasing, then hitting him. This fight is horrible. There is little to no counters to this. Yeah, it's just a poorly made fight. This thing, not bad. This Joe Fixit is fine. Bring a shock immune for this Proxima, and this Wasp is nothing real special. This path also had a couple of fights that were terrible. This Magneto, nothing wrong with him. Ant-Man, this Ant-Man sucks to fight, but he's doable. If you bring Namor, you with a Sig 200 Namor, anytime you glance, you will deal the damage you would take back to him. It's an easy way to cheese this fight out. Besides that, just bring someone who can. I think Archangel would be great here. I think that's who I would use if I could go back. Domino works. Damage over time, champs work. This Korg, it's really just a normal Korg. Be able to fight Korg and you can be fine. This Venom is honestly probably the worst fight they made in this quest. In this entire thing. Because it's Caustic Temper with permanent 1% regeneration. You need the Fury buff, and you need to be able to deal with regeneration, and you need to be poison immune. I don't think there is a single champion who can actually do this, like, legitimately well. I brought Heimdall, Angela, and Ghost. And did quick damage. With Breakthrough, actually, it's not... okay, it is not the worst bait fight because it has Breakthrough. Because then you're going to start doing more and more damage after you do, like, 50 hits. Yeah, 50 hits, then... Wait, I need to do some quick math in my head. 25 hits. Then you're going to start doing more and more damage. So this actually isn't a terrible node, because eventually you will out-damage him so much that you will start doing more than the 1% regen. But if you want to do it quickly, I did Ghost, Heimdall, and Angela, and just with Wasp on my team. I got him to, I think, 50 of the armor breaks, launched a special 2, and killed him. Well, actually, I got myself killed. No. Yeah, no, I got myself killed because of the Do Not Go Gentle, but he had then 1 health, and I started the fight with Symbiote Supreme, and he got killed because his buffs killed him. That fight sucks, though. This Rogue is fine. Just be careful of the Spite node because she is debuff immune. Bring a Bleed immune for this Hulk. Quake, nothing really big. Scarlet Witch, nothing big. Okay, those are the basic paths in these. So the Venom and the Electro are the paths, are the people who suck in these paths. For beginner, or not a beginner, somebody who's going on this quest for completion, I recommend the King Group path. It's generally simple. There's not really anybody super hard. The War Machine is probably your hardest fight. Yeah. So in this quest, the gates are 4 for each path. So you need 4 6-stars for one path, 4 cosmics for another, 4 specifically 5-star cosmics, 4 5-star techs, 4 5-star cosmics, and 4 5-star mutants. I'm going to go over this 6-star path first, which is this one right here. This path is not bad. They don't really make anything super difficult. I think most of these have a cornered node on them. Just gonna be checking. Yeah. All of these fights have cornered on them. So don't bring a damage over time champ. People like Ghost, Captain America, the general counters I've said before, over and over, are gonna be your friends here. Anybody who doesn't do damage over time is your friend here. This Corvus, there's nothing special.
He's quite simple. This Groot aspect of evolution, this is the worst node of the game, I think, because basically it just makes it so that over time you're going to have longer and longer fights. The fight's going to get longer and longer, and it's just going to be more and more difficult to kill. Kill him quickly. Don't let him get very far. This node is just terrible. But this Groot, because it's Groot, it's honestly not bad here. Medusa, fine. This Gulk is fine. Actually, the Gulk is fine. Gambit, fine. Bishop, nothing special. Magic, 100% power game Magic is probably going to be your hardest fight here. Bring your Magic counters. That's all I got to say about that. And this Heimdall. This path is okay. You just need to bring 4 6-stars, which is basically, if your 6-star roster isn't great, you're not going to have a great time here. You need 1 champion, so I'd recommend bringing 4 6-star. If you don't have a very deep 6-star roster, if you're going to bring any 5-star, bring a counter to Magic. I'd recommend... I recommend Gulk. I'd recommend bringing Gladiator Hulk. Yeah. Then there's this path, which is the 4 mutants. As you can see, there's that. This Aegon is a bit annoying because aspect of... Okay, all these guys have aspect of evolution. This path does suck. I hate this path because of aspect of evolution. If they didn't have aspect of evolution, this path would be completely fine. But aspect of evolution ruins this path. Power gain, he's gonna, every single time he gets a special, he's gonna get stronger and stronger, and he gains specials quickly. That's a pain. This Blade, he's fine, nothing really special. This Taskmaster has his special nodes. If your basically his specials could be unblockable, and he will generally evade your exploit weakness, your current exploit weakness. Night Thrasher, he's fine. This Kingpin is fine. Bring a poison immune for this Massacre. And this Thor, for your last slot out of the 4 mutants, I would recommend bringing Void because of this Thor. And actually because of this Punisher, bring Void. In terms of mutants, honestly, I haven't really talked much about who to bring for the gates because these gates are done in such a way that you need specific champions. I can't really give other options because there really aren't any. If you don't have the god tier if you don't have the god tiers of each class, you're kind of screwed. I just how Kabam made it. This Punisher is absolutely awful. Omega Red, Namor. Honestly, the Punisher sucks. Yeah, he's just terrible. I don't like it. Yeah. This path, you have to bring Tex. Bring somebody with an armor up. For all these guys have plus 20% physical resistance. That is a great node to put here. It's not cheap and it makes it a bit harder. I respect that node. Bring a Havoc counter. This Archangel, don't worry about him. Just be able to avoid a special one. Okay. The improved power gain on Havoc does make it a bit more of a pain. but it's not the same as the Doctor Strange, because he doesn't gain his power nearly as quickly. He will get a bar of power probably every 5 to 10 seconds between that range. Basically, you're just gonna have to evade specials more. Oh wait, I skipped the Mr. Sinister. My bad. Mr. Sinister is your general Mr. Sinister. Tech champs like Guillotine 2099, because they don't crit, will work pretty well here. Yeah, I think she's probably the best counter to this. Doc Ock works really well. Just get him into the corner, and you will start going on him. If you happen to bring Human Torch as your last of the 5 people, he can work really well here. Yeah. Omega Red, pretty easy fight. Sabretooth is fine. Be careful about his first medium though. Just watch to see if it's unblockable. Yeah. Domino is just Domino. She sucks. No Retreat Storm. This fight is a bit of a challenge, but because it's Storm, it's not that bad. So I honestly don't hate this fight. Bring somebody who does quick damage, and bring somebody who has a special that does a lot of hits, like Guillotine 2099 could work great because their special do has a lot of hits in case you get clipped by something. Because to prove yourself, yeah. Cable, bring. I'd recommend as your last champ to bring here, bring Human Torch, because he will counter the buffets, he will counter the vigors if they're anywhere. He'll counter Mr. Sinister and Sabretooth for their healing. And then this is the worst gate in the entirety of 6.2. This 4 Cosmic Gate is just very, very difficult and very, very rigged. These first so the general note here is 80% critical resistance. So you're not going to crit as much, and your crits will hit for less. It sucks. Ghost is not great here. Okay, Ghost is good here, but it's a longer fight because of the crit resistance. The Ghost here, pretty easy. Star-Lord, easy. Spider-Man, bring a bleed immune, easy. All of these could be done with Corvus. I used Corvus here because you need him, or else you're gonna get screwed. This Darkhawk, pretty easy. This Green Goblin, easy. Nebula, bring an Incinerate immune. These last 3 fights are absolutely horrible. You need an Incinerate immune and you have to deal with Encroaching Stun, Counter Tactics, and 200% power gain. This fight, you're most likely going to use a Revive. It's very, very difficult. And because you have to get your own bars of power while constantly evading hers because of this power gain. And upon that, you're limited to using only Incinerate immune champs. And you're not going to get many crits. Just difficult. This Red Skull, 15% buffet and stun immunity. He sucks. He is absolutely awful. He was the reason I could not finish his quest when I first started this. I had to wait 3 months after I 100%ed everything else because I could not beat this Red Skull. Void. Corvus, if you have a power gain boost active. That's pretty much it. Void Corvus, and Human Torch.
That's it. One permanent 1% regeneration. Iron Man Infinity War. Void, Corvus, Human Torch. That's all you get. I think Human Torch is a great addition to the four cosmics on this path, and bring a Corvus. Yeah, that's basically how this quest goes. I'm just making sure I'm recording real quick. All right, great. Mordo. This node, Strength in Numbers, is the biggest cash grab in the entire game. If anybody on your team is dead, you do 25% less damage, and you have 25% less ability accuracy. So if anybody dies, you're going to want to revive them upon all of these very difficult fights. Yeah. It just doesn't get much better than that, right, Kabam? Besides that, he's a fairly standard Mordo with Spite. Just be careful with your buffs. He gets little incoming things based on which path you take. So if you're taking any of these difficult paths or the path with the rigged regenerations, you're going to have all of these, being Hurt Locker, Special Delivery, Enhanced Special 1, and Enhanced Special 2. All of which, the Enhanced Specials are fine. Special Delivery and Hurt Locker aren't great, because, when put together, anyway. Because you have to launch a special after 15 hits, but you can't be the same ones. So you're going to be very much between Special 2s and Special 1s. So don't bring a champ who relies on the Special 3. Unless it's Hyperion, because you get power gain, that gets it quickly there. But then you have to watch out for Spite. Good counters here. Quake. Be careful with the Spite, though. So if you're just parrying, then heavying, you should be fine. With Quaking. Human Torch works great. Corvus can do well. Captain America Infinity War can do well. Your general, just honestly anybody works here, but because of strength in numbers, you're going to want to keep reviving people. So it's honestly just a cash grab. If you're able to fight Mordo, it's fairly standard to get a one shot, but it's just a cash grab. And that's it for this quest. This is probably the hardest quest in 6.2. So if you're struggling in this, don't feel bad. A lot of people do. And then for the last quest with the champion, this quest has no extra global. You don't actually have to worry about people besides the champion either. Unless you're taking the extra paths. For the first time you go through, bring a Cold Snap immune, and then just counters for the champion. Symbiote Supreme, Magic, Black Widow Clairvoyant, Captain America Infinity War, generally Mystic Champs, Doctor Doom, that's who I was forgetting, Spider-Man Stealth Suit, etc. You know what I mean. Dr. Voodoo, actually, can work. Just gotta... It's a weird playstyle if you're using Dr. Voodoo. And bring a Cold Snap immune. Where's one of mine? They're all in a W and a Q. You get the idea. Pretend there's a Cold Snap immune here. This basic path that goes straight down, it gets rid of all the incoming nodes on the champion, makes it a fairly standard fight, except you want to revert to my other video on fighting the champion.
it goes over more of his abilities. It's not. It requires a video to go over. There's not much else I could say about that. It has 8 paths, but can be done in 4 goes. For the initial, but if you do that, you will not be able to go down the straight path. If you're trying to go for exploration. So let's go over this fight that goes straight down. Nothing really to deal with there. This node actually doesn't even work, so don't even worry. It's just a Hyperion fight. Aggression armor up, Iceman. If you use Corvus down this entire lane, you will be completely fine besides this magic. Blade, it's defensive. Magic has power gain. Bring a magic counter, maybe. Void has a blockable finale. Hulk has mighty charge. And Corvus has tank buster. All of those fights down the middle, there's really nothing to worry about there. Now I'm gonna go over these gated paths. This Mystic gate is probably the most fair gate they've made, because of the fact that you generally are going to want to bring Mystics for this quest anyway. So having that gate doesn't really restrict you much. Unless you are stuck using Captain America and Infinity War against the boss, then it restricts you a good amount. But generally, this Mystic Gate isn't that bad. There's nothing really special to deal with on any of these fights. But you require 4 Mystics to go on that path. Next, Abomination. Sorry, not Abomination. This path is all about bringing champions with immunities. If you bring Ghost, you can easily kill any of them. Enhanced Poison, Enhanced Bleed. You're going to start off with an Incinerate on both of them, but since it's Human Torch, he gets rid of it. Iceman, you're going to start off with a Cold Snap. Corvus. Go through any of those except for, never mind, I retract my statement. He cannot. Ghost is going to be your go-to here. Or just bring somebody who's immune to, bring a double immune champ. You could bring Iceman, he could deal with these first 3. Then bring a Cold Snap immune. Yeah. You're just going to want to focus on immunities for that. This path, honestly, there's nothing special about this path. This path is pretty basic to go through. If you wanna add an extra path on your first run, I'd try and get this one. It's pretty easy to do, and if you don't take one of these fights, it leaves a node on the champion. The unblockable for 6 seconds is honestly not that bad. It might get you once when you're fighting him, but it's really not that bad. This next fight, you need 4 5-star skill champions. This path is difficult-ish. You need a Cold Snap immune because of this Iceman, and you're gonna need 5 skill champions. You can bring Aegon. He will counter all of these fights. And you won't have to worry about a thing. Or you could be stuck with, like most people, with 4 skill champions and having to deal with that Iceman. Blade. Who did I even use on that path? Oh god, I think I used Captain America Infinity War, and I had to fight that Iceman with Captain America Infinity War, and I had to heal him afterwards. but Aegon's gonna be helpful there, or somebody with a large health pool to fight that Iceman. Besides that, these fights in here aren't bad. There's nothing really too big about them. Yeah, so don't really worry too much there. This 4 science path, this one is probably the hardest path. In terms of the node that you're leaving on the champion. The no retreat is very difficult because of that last phase. Otherwise, it wouldn't be bad. But that last phase makes this path not fun. Not fun. In terms of fights here, there's really nothing difficult about this. These things. Yeah. Yeah, you'll be fine here. But dealing with champion with no retreat is not really that fun. Then this path is probably the hardest path they give you. It's do you bleed, but it puts on champs that are practically bleed immune besides Killmonger. And on this, he just purifies debuffs. If his armor is active, which is ridiculous. I had to use Corvus and revert to hitting all of their blocks until they died. This path is very poorly made because, especially since it makes Emma Frost armor break immune. So you can't even get rid of her diamond form to bleed her. This path is horrid. And they put a rogue here, so your bleeds aren't even going to last long. This path sucks. Bring someone who can just prepare for a long fight. It's just not fair, that path. This path down here, not that bad. This Civil Warrior, you're just going to want to bring a champ who doesn't do super fast damage. This Iron Man Infinity War. Honestly, if you could bring Corvus for everybody on this path except for Civil Warrior because of Backblast. Take your time with Civil Warrior. Run through with Corvus on the rest. Bring an XL champ for this Ant-Man or you're going to be in for a long fight. And Cap Infinity War, not bad. He has auto block if you use a medium or light. Corvus with Proxima. Bring Corvus and Proxima for this path. Use Proxima for this guy and use Corvus for the rest, and you should be good. This path you need 4 6-stars, and none of these guys have extra nodes. As you can see, they're actually 1-stars. So they are just beefed up to the level of the rest of the champs. They're honestly not that bad, but they leave you to have proved yourself. Which basically makes it so that you need 15 hits before you can start doing damage when you fight this guy. Yeah, that's all of Act 6, Chapter 2. This chapter is the worst one they've made in terms of story mode. I'm really glad they changed it in 6.3 and 6.4, but this chapter is terrible. So that's the part 2 of this guide. So thanks guys for watching. I guess talk to you guys later. Bye.